So, tell me what Lingerie Fighting Championships is and how you got involved.
So, Lingerie Fighting Championships is a MMA/wrestling company based out of Las Vegas. From what I know, they've been going for quite a while. Funnily enough, when I did do one of my wrestling tours in Vegas, I did try reaching out to them. And I think whoever was sort of like in charge of their socials then just sort of said, like, can you just send us this, 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 and this? And nothing ever came of it. But they reached out to my wrestling promotion a couple of months back asking for help to run their events and come to the UK. And then we totally missed their message because we have a million messages. And they emailed us again and was like, really want to come to the UK. Can you help us get to the UK? So I contacted them back and I was like, oh, funny enough, yeah, I reached out to you, this and that. And I'm speaking to the person direct and he's like, oh my God, like, I'd love to have you on my show, by the way. And I was like, amazing. So I found him his venues. I sort of told him, like, what type of things he needed to do in the UK. So, for example, like how, like insurances, like sort of like, the legalities of getting American people over. Like I just walked him through all of that and everything and just helped him find a couple female wrestlers from the UK because he's bringing half of the USA roster. He's bringing UK roster and I think there's a few European girls as well. They recently done a tour in Japan, in Tokyo, and that actually went down really well. And I think they might have been to Europe in the past, I'm not 100% sure, but they're now looking to tap into the UK market. It's something totally different. It's never happened in the UK before. I did explain the UK is a lot more conservative compared to America, especially Las Vegas, where I guess in Las Vegas anything goes. But we're trying it and hopefully it will be successful.
I checked a bit of it out and I was kind of in my head, I was expecting like WWF Divas kind of lingerie pillow fight-esque stuff, but it's not. It's like proper hard-hitting stuff.
The women really go for it. They use a lot of highly trained women wrestlers. Some have backgrounds in things like judo, MMA, boxing. So they use a range of trained professionals. Like, even when I've looked in America, at their roster, they were using Bob Van Dam's Mrs. Katie Ford. She was meant to be coming over, but she's now pregnant. And then they've also even used they used to use like that Selena De La Venta, who was in MLW. She's quite a known name. I always forget the other lady's name, Lady something. She's Rockstar Spread's missus. I know she's done it. And then there's Sarah the Rebel, who I know from Custom Wrestling, who also has done a lot of pro, who's also very highly skilled, who they use, who will be over here. There's a girl called Gypsy Mac, who I've funnily enough wrestled in Las Vegas, and I've also wrestled here in California, and she's going to be flying over from America for this event. So yeah, a lot of the girls they use are actual women who wrestle on the indie scenes or may have had contracts in the past and are like, very good female wrestlers. Like Gypsy Mac, I've seen on her social medias recently, she's been doing more like Daredevil style matches, and then she's coming over and doing this. But yeah, the quality of wrestling still stays the same, even though we're wrestling in our lingerie.
Yeah. So the show itself is called Independence Day 2. It's like a US versus UK thing. Your opponent is Raylin. So what can you tell us about her?
So she's actually in WOW, Women's Wrestling, which once again is somewhere I've always wanted to work. From what I know, she's been on the USA independent scene for a very long time. And I think once again, she works for a lot of the major indie promotions. So I'm actually really excited to work here, just because it's always nice to be able to work someone who you wouldn't normally work. Like, in the UK, I might work the same girl multiple times. I say that I've only had my fourth match back from injury, but like, hypothetically, you'd come across like the same people. So it's nice that there's someone, who you wouldn't always get to wrestle.
Yeah. So what can people expect from the show and specifically your match?
So from the actual show, You can expect live singers. You can expect women looking absolutely amazing, a great atmosphere. I feel like for my match, I'm 100% going to be chucking in them viral stink faces, which don't usually do much of. Only really in custom wrestling I do that, or if I'm on an 18 plus show, or the odd American show that has majority adults. So yeah, I'll be 100% checking that in. So you'll see a lot of that. For me as well, like I've really brushed up on my technical skills. So you probably see a lot of new submissions, a lot of cross faces, because that's what I'm going to be trying to get on, so I can tap her out. So ideally I wouldn't be getting my cross face on and tapping her out. So yeah, just grabbing her down, and I'll probably hit her with lots of chops because I love a chop.
I was going to ask, how's your training differed from like just normal everyday wrestling training?
In regards to
In regards to, you know, it's more of a MMA style fight. So obviously,
so
you know,
we actually the girls start arriving from the 1st of July. The 2nd and 3rd of July we all actually have to go through training, and then the first event is the 4th of July. And then we get the day off on the 5th of July. Then the 6th of July is the last event in Cardiff, my home city. But yeah, we actually will be going through 2 days of training.
so it's that kind of an intense sort of MMA style training then.
You know what? I'm not really 100% sure. As I think he told me, like, you know, we were going back and forth and everything and planning things. And I think a couple of weeks later he said about training, and I was like, oh, that's quite cool. That's like different. I've never like known that. Like, there's like, yeah, they run it so differently to how a normal wrestling event would be run over here. Like, they have things like stage managers, they have like timekeepers, they have like so much like little stuff to keep things going. I think they're going to be filming training because they have a reality TV show as well. So the reality TV show will basically show like behind the scenes of the events. It will show us training, what we're doing outside of the events. I did say if we get time on the Saturday, the day before the event, I'm going to take them to Cardiff Castle. And get them some Welsh cakes, but I guess it depends when they get into Wales, because the event on the Friday, it depends when I get back to Wales actually. The event on the Friday starts at 10 p.m. because it's being filmed for pay-per-view live in America. So that's why it starts at 10 p.m. So yeah, we're probably going to get back to our hotels at like late. So yeah, I say that. And then traveling back Saturday, I probably won't even see the daylight.
This kind of like lingerie fighting championship stuff always comes with a bit of criticism from people online. What's your message to like people who criticize it for, you know, the obvious kind of women in lingerie stuff?
My body, my choice. I'll wrestle in what I want. I'm wrestling in front of an 18 plus crowd. Like, you know, it's not like my vagina's going to be hanging out. My lingerie will be secured. I've already thought of this. I'm like, yeah, I don't want nip slips. I don't want vagina flapping out. So, you know, I'm going to make sure I double up in certain parts. And you probably watched it, like the criticism people, I'm like, you probably watched it back in 2000 when Trish Stratus and Tori Wilson were doing it, and you're probably living life. So, you know, what's the difference? And you watch a music video these days and the women are in their underwear, they're in latex, they're God knows what, and that's on prime time TV for the world to see. That's in the background of, like, you know, a pub where you're eating with your family, and you just see, I don't know, Britney Spears or Beyonce, like, woo, 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 like, you know, wearing nothing. You know, like, you see that everywhere anyway. We're just doing a sport in it. You go down the beach and you see people in the bikini. What's the difference between bikini and lingerie? It covers up the same bit. If anything, my bikini shows more of my ass than my lingerie, because my bikini's always a thong. So yeah, but that's just me. That's how I think. And people I know will think differently, but they're allowed to think differently because that's their opinion. Everyone's allowed an opinion, you know. Like, if we all have different opinions, then you know what I mean, life would be boring. So it's good to have different opinions, but at the end of the day, Like, you know, they've already sold a hell of a lot of PPVs, like pay-per-views, which it already makes up for the two shows, which have huge productions, which, like I said, have women flying over from USA and stuff like that. So they've already made that many up the ticket sales of the bonus. So they've got an amazing, like, you know, audience already who love it. So we're now tapping into the UK. I'm really hoping that these go off amazing. London's already sold out, so just Cardiff. Next, but I'm really hoping that Cardiff does sell out because it's something different. And yeah, I'd love it to end up going to Dublin, like Glasgow, Manchester, Birmingham, like all the major cities. I'd love them to come back and do a tour, you know, a bigger tour.
I was going to say, with London selling out, if people want to see it, how can they get tickets for your hometown show?
Sorry?
How can they get tickets?
So there's actually a link on my Twitter.
Okay.
So you need to go to my Twitter, which is Nadia_Sapphire, and the ticket link is there. I'm going to pin it to my Twitter actually after this, so people can see it. But yeah, the ticket link is on my Twitter. I can't say, like, you know, like you've got like loads of numbers after the link, and I can't remember all the numbers. It's like 1 million. But yeah, there's actually going to be an after party as well in Cardiff, where a lot of us girls will be going to after, and all the fans are actually invited to come and hang out as well with us all. So 10 Million have agreed to let us have an after party. Obviously the club will be open for the normal public too, but as girls, like, you know, we're gonna have like some tables and stuff like that, and lots of drinks. And then if the fans want to come to the after party, they can, you know, come socialise, have photos of us, and it's just like a nice way to sort of end the crazy week of wrestling. I've got to stay in London for like 3 nights. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna miss my dogs.
You mentioned before about the injury you had, and then like this is, I think, your 4th or 5th time back in the ring since then.
Yeah.
How's the recovery been? And like, what's the kind of projection of you long term with your wrestling?
This is the worst injury I've ever had to come back from, and I actually tore my ACL years ago, and this one's been harder than the ACL. So where I'm at now, there's a lot of loss of cartilage in certain parts of my knee, and as we know, cartilage doesn't come back. One of the options could potentially be a meniscal transplant, but that would take me another year out, and the recovery would be like 6 weeks. Not even on my not even putting weight at all on me. I don't want to risk that yet. So I've gone down the peptide route, which is going all right. It's still not 100%, but it is getting better and it is getting stronger. So for example, I know when I do, let's say, one wrestling match, I'm all good. But then the week that's just gone, I did 2 wrestling matches in a row. But leading up to that, I did 4 incline walks, 2 leg sessions, 1 wrestling training session, a glute back session. I overdid it. So by Sunday night, my knee was like just so swollen, which happens now because when you don't have cartilage, it basically turns into osteoarthritis. So when you don't have cartilage and you do a lot of stuff, like your knee does swell up. And then when your knee swells up, obviously it becomes pain and stiffness. And then every time I get up, because it's so swollen, it doesn't straighten straight away. Like my first 3 or 4 steps, I'm limping. I'm thinking, oh my god, I look so stupid. But like I understand what it is. Like I know my knee is actual stable, my ACL's intact, my PCL's intact, everything's been checked. I have like I had some more MRI scans like 2 months ago just to double check I could clear myself. It's literally just the loss of cartilage, and it's like when the knee is overused, it just swells up. So now I know this weekend to only wrestle 1 match this weekend. Obviously the LFC, I'm a bit like, oh, like with the training the 2 days before, then the event. By the event I could be really swollen. Then if I'm really swollen, I'll be unable to do stuff. But luckily enough, the trainer is a very close friend of mine, understands it. So I'll take it very easy in the training to make sure I don't get swelling for the Friday. Saturday off, then no swelling on the Sunday. So there'll be like a lot of icing in between, a lot of infrared, a lot of peptides. So yeah.
Have you had to change your wrestling style because of it?
Yeah. So I realised the other day I can't do a bridge and suplex anymore. I tried doing a bridge and suplex in a match, and literally, yeah, I can't get that range of motion anymore, unfortunately. I feel like surgery messed up my knee even more. I know it's like basically there was like a cyclops behind my ACL, which they moved. And then I think then like they repaired the meniscus, because I think I tore like my meniscus again. And then there was like lots of cartilage in there anyway, which we knew from MRI scans like a year before the surgery. So like, the knee's been monitored. Like even before I had my surgery, like I'd had like MRIs like a year before, and I'd done like another 2 bills of America, and I'd done Europe. So the knee's been monitored over the years. So we can see the cartilage has been degenerating over the years. It's just obviously then my meniscus needed sorting, and I had like a cyclops. So I think what they've done is where they've like removed this a cyclops. I think I've got a cyclops, I don't know, something like that. I've got like more room maybe in that area, which my knee's not liking. Maybe there's scar tissue in there. Maybe now because they've tightened everything up, it's just less range of motion. But there's not as much range of motion, but it's getting there. So it's like every couple of weeks, my bridge will slowly get better, and I can get the range of motion more. Like when I first come out of surgery, for the first like 6 months, couldn't even sit on my knees properly or do like a child's pose in yoga. But now I'm able to sit on my knees. Feels a little bit uncomfortable on the left knee, but I'm able to sit there now and able to get into that. In DDP yoga, he does this thing where like you sit on your knees, you come out, go into downward dogs, and usually repeat. And when I would repeat that, eventually be able to sit on my knees. But then the next day I'm like, right, I can't sit on my knees again because it's gone back to normal. So it's just having to get the range of motion. They did say to me, like surgeons, that I probably need a knee replacement when I'm like 50, 60. So yeah, so that's, but I'm trying to, like I said, there's more stuff coming out now for osteoarthritis and stuff like that. And I've gone really down the biohacking route. If anyone wants to message me about that, they're more than welcome to, because that has helped me a lot. And then, yeah, there are, especially at the American stuff, other things you can do for cartilage. Like some people do cartilage, is it like cartilage replacements and stuff now? Like there's stuff coming out. So I feel like by the time I'm like 50, like in like 20 years, like I'm not gonna like there'll be alternatives to knee replacements, like even like ACL surgeries. When I had my ACL surgery, I'm left like a big scar because I had like the old ACL surgery. The newer ACL surgeries are way more better now and give you way less scar tissue. Do you get what I mean? Everything gets better. So I'm just like, they say that, but there could be something else out. And like I said, I have been referred to see another doctor or surgeon even in Birmingham who does like meniscal transplants. We don't even know if I'll be a candidate for it, but that's what's being suggested by my surgeon, isn't like it could be an option, but we just don't know if I'd be a candidate. But it's sort of like, I think I'm gonna wait. I don't want to go down any more surgery route at the moment. I've actually lost 2 stones in surgery and continuing to lose more weight. I feel like that'll really help. I don't necessarily want to lose more weight, but might need to,
Yeah. So are you putting a bit of a time limit on your in-ring career then, as a result of this?
Am I what? I'm sorry?
Putting a time limit on your in-ring career?
I'm not putting a time limit on it. I'm just seeing like I'm not ready to retire. That's the thing. I love wrestling. I enjoy wrestling. Me being Nadia Sapphire also affects my other businesses. And me being Nadia Sapphire affects my OnlyFans. It affects my custom wrestling company. It affects my social medias. If I'm not Nadia Sapphire and I'm a normal person, then there's nothing about me to sell. Does that make sense? Like I'm not marketable anymore. So I have to keep wrestling in order to be able to market myself. People need to see me wrestling in order to know who I am. I need to stay relevant. Otherwise, it just becomes some random girl, So I have to do it. But then, I do enjoy it still, and that's the thing. Like, I still feel young. I still act young. I was going to America. Like I did like I think 5 American tours in 2 years. I actually felt like I started to find my place in America. I really enjoyed that. I loved the open-mindedness of it. Like everyone was so more open-minded. Like all the girls did customs, loads of them have OF, and it's just so normal out there. And yeah, the wrestling was just more like let's just have fun type of thing. Over here, the wrestling feels like pressurized to have a good match, and if you don't have a good match, you're scared the boys backstage are gonna laugh at you. You know what I mean? But over there, it was just such a breath of fresh air. So I really want to be able to do a lot more there. I was going to go Vegas Mania weekend, but when he just wasn't ready, I had to take more time off because I came back in February, did 3 matches in February. My knee was just totally not in a good place. Seen a musculoskeletal person, and he was like taking over like I think it was like he said like 8 to 12 weeks off, and I think the way it worked out was about 10, 11 weeks. I don't know, something like that. So yeah, so I'm just on my 4th match back. So yeah, but it's better than the first time round in February, if that makes sense.
So you've got no plans to give it up just yet then?
No plans to give it up just yet. As long as my knee allows me, then I'll keep going.